Grace and peace as we look forward to Pentecost this coming Sunday. St. Luke seeks to be a diverse urban and global community that shares Christ's love as our foundation. That's where the Holy Spirit led us in our listening season and strategic planning. Pentecost is a time when we understand how the Holy Spirit helps us to be what we say we want to be, a diverse urban and global community that shares Christ's love as our foundation. That idea of connecting. Early on in our ministry, my wife Janet found that out. She was sitting contemplating her strange new world in the filthy laundromat in Corona, Queens, on the second day of our life in the Big Apple. Suddenly, her washing machine began to spew suds all over the floor. She asked the people around her for help. The people looked at her as though she were an extraterrestrial or some other alien, instead of just a lady from Detroit, knee-deep in suds and homesickness in New York City. The problem was language. Janet was speaking English, a foreign language in that part of Corona, Queens. Well-meaning souls began to explain things to my dear befuddled wife in Mandarin, in Spanish, in Italian, in Arabic. Not a soul in the laundromat spoke English. There wasn't even a Brooklyn accent in the joint. Janet stood surrounded by suds and good people gesturing wildly, speaking a torrent of words which were incomprehensible. She was totally disconnected. One person ceased talking, realizing that Janet was a foreigner from the Midwest who could not yet speak Spanish or any of the other languages. She took her by the arm and led her to a vending machine on the wall. With gestures and kindness, she communicated a solution to the problem. Soon Janet was able to hear and understand in her own language this kind woman whose words and language were foreign and strange, yet they connected. The lady took out a quarter, put it in the machine. Aha, fabric softener will cut the suds. It seemed like wisdom from on high. Wild suds became clean clothes. Working together, two people who spoke different languages were not only able to hear one another, they were able to create a brief oasis of human kindness and understanding. It was a Holy Spirit Pentecost moment. Just imagine Parthians, Mesopotamians, and Cappadocians as immigrants or visitors in Jerusalem, hearing their mother tongues spoken for perhaps the first time in years. Did each receive that homing beacon, turning the ear to the signal? Did each have that sense of connectedness, of coming home? The gift of the Holy Spirit that marks the birth of the church is a gift expressly for those outside the Jesus movement, those who had lived displaced in a language world not their own. We cannot miss this. It is a spiritual gift given not only for the disciples themselves, but for the outsiders listening. God's gift reaches outward to those outside of the immediate circle of Jesus' followers. It seems that one mark of the Holy Spirit's gifting is that it empowers us to connect to others. St. Luke seeks to be a diverse urban and global community that shares Christ's love as our foundation.